Since the start of the pandemic in 2020, the bicycle industry has gone through some crazy changes. It came with a lot of highs. A lot of dealers, distributors, manufacturers sold through a ton of inventory. The demand was so crazy. Everyone's selling inventory that's been sitting around for 4, 5, 6 years. Everything and anything was flying off the shelves. The demand went through the roof. Companies ordered in a ton of excess inventory. And then recently, in the past couple of years, I would say the last 2 or 3 years, with those highs come obviously lows. The demand started to fall off. A bunch of excess inventory was sitting around. And it took a sharp downward kind of spiral where a lot of people were either closing doors, shutting down, realizing that it just wasn't working for them. Just like every other, it's not just a bicycle industry, just like every outdoor activity out there, like boating, RVing, whatever it is, the typical kind of sport like that. And with that, now we have this kind of level plateau where it's kind of getting back to what it used to be like in 2019. But it is not the same normal that we used to know before the pandemic. The bicycle industry has changed so much. The focus of these companies has changed so much. The demand from the consumers has changed so much that really the bicycle industry is kind of going into this new direction, which we'll talk about in today's video. And this article right here is pretty much justify what I've been saying for the past couple years about where the bicycle industry is heading, what my customers are demanding, what I'm seeing in my store as well, and hopefully we'll get into all that. So let's go ahead and get into this article. But before that, I want to take you back to pre-pandemic bicycle industry. We owned a store. We have brands we work with. The brands will come into our store at the beginning of the year, say, hey, we need a preseason from you. We want a number that you guys think that you're going to sell through them this year. We want a set order of X amount of dollars. Let's just call it $500,000. It could be a lot more. It could be a lot less. We want mountain bikes, road bikes, hybrids, cruisers. We want you to fill up your whole store, tires, helmets, shoes, everything. And this is going to be your goal to hit. And and these companies will push this on pretty hard, and this was just always the way it was. You had to push that and then also sell other stuff that wasn't on your preseason. Now, in today's day and age, it doesn't seem to be as pushy. Companies and stores, the business models that we're in right now seem to be changing. It doesn't really seem to be all have crazy amount of stock of crazy low end, crazy mid end, and crazy high end. There seems to be a change in demand in really only 1 to 2 categories, which is crazy high end and just under crazy high end. So let's get into this article, and then I'll go ahead and reiterate what I mean by what I say of all the stuff I'm talking about. So HLC Closing South Carolina Distribution Center. I did a video on Holly a little while ago in 2023. HLC closed its Texas and Pennsylvania distribution centers. If you guys don't know, HLC is a distribution center for bicycle shops. So if I'm a small bicycle shop and I need to order parts, and maybe I don't have a big enough account to go directly to SRAM or directly to Shimano, they are a great outlet for me to go ahead and buy stuff like chains, freewheels, cassettes, bearings, bicycles, gloves, frames, everything. Anything and everything you need, you can buy Garmin's off here. It is not as cheap as if you went straight to manufacturer, but that means that you're able to go ahead and not have to open up these crazy accounts. Again, if you want to go ahead and be exclusive to only ordering, let's say with SRAM or Shimano, you might have to hit a certain amount of revenue with them to go ahead and achieve that discount. With them, it's really not as much. You're able to order, pick and choose what you want, and this works well for service departments. Let's say you get cruisers in, you can order handlebar grips, chain, freewheel, cassettes, pedals, whatever you need to go ahead and fix that, even wheels at that matter. There's other companies like them as well. You have QBP. Site is down for maintenance. They're another one. They're a strong competitor. JBI. They have a ton of locations. Again, another distribution center. They have products all around. Again, cables, small things. Things that bicycle shops need to go ahead and maintain. Maybe not the average consumer needs them, but it's great to go ahead and have stock in there as well. And I believe there's also like Jensen, USA. Yes, that you can use as well. Our main distribution centers, we use all 3 of them. But our main ones back in the day before pre-pandemic were JBI. Because they were local in Miami, they used to have a driver who would literally drive and drop off stuff to our door. We placed the order Thursday. They'd be at our door Friday with all the inventory. During the pandemic, that changed. The driver stopped coming by to go ahead and lower the risk of contracting COVID. So that changed, and they just did the regular shipping. But we would place I had a full paper sheet that we would fill out, and it'll be full of items that needed for repairs to get done for that day, or items to be restocked on the shelves. Same with quality. It was just a different outlet for us to go ahead and order these parts in there. So HLC is one of the bigger ones out there too. They've been around for a very long time. I think like 1945 was a bike shop, and then they got like 1978 or something like that was when the Mr. Hawley came on in. But they've been a really great distribution center. They also have amazing shipping as well. Like if I place an order today, I think it's like next day shipping if you hit a certain amount of numbers. Really good choice of products. But in recent times, they've seen some kind of woes, or it seems like they're taking it in a different direction. Before 2023, when the going was getting good, they expanded like a lot of other people's. I think even Quality opened up another warehouse. So at the time, I think they had close to 3 to 4 warehouses in the United States. So when you would go to their website and you would go ahead and choose something to pick from, it would give you a list of options like South Carolina, Pennsylvania, wherever it was. But 2023, they had to close down Texas and Pennsylvania because obviously those buildings cost money to rent. You have to pay employees to be in there. You have to have logistics for shipping. You have to stock those items until people bought them. So it didn't make sense. They went ahead and saved some money. So HLC will close its facility here and consolidate operations at its Nevada distribution center while also reducing its number of brands. So again, like I said, a lot of these people have a ton of brands, some that you don't even need. There's a ton of products on here that I don't even look at. I don't even check. Single speed cranks, maybe some off-brand single speed chains, fixed wheels, really a lot of different sorts and array of items that you might not even need. Mirrors, I might get that from a different distribution center, but they will always keep them in stock for, like I said, the smaller stores that needed it. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. In an email sent to the industry partners, HLC said that the industry is changing. Dealer needs also have evolved and required a shifting of focus. HLC declined to offer any more information when contacted by Brain. Rather than being everything to everyone, we're focusing on delivering premium, remember that word, road, mountain, and gravel products. We'll give more attention to each brand and more variety within each of those portfolios. Our dealers will receive a great expertise, a more comprehensive inventory, and support that makes a difference. They'll get knowledge from our team who knows these products inside and out. That's great. We always want to go ahead and work with people who know what they're talking about. There's sometimes where I pick up a phone and say, hey, I need this part, and the guy seems like he's new and he has no idea what he's talking about. We like this. That's really good. HLC did not say what brands it will carry in the future and which ones it will be dropped. As a part of this shift, we're saying goodbye to some incredible brand partners we've been proud to work with. We're grateful for the relationships that we built. Look forward to supporting their continued success in other channels. HLC said dealers will experience consistent shipping times and for East Coast orders, an extra 3 hours until 7 p.m. And then they went on to say that HLC closed its Texas and Pennsylvania distribution centers in 2023. And in 2022, a private equity firm, Middle Ground Capital, acquired HLC. So obviously, a private equity firm wants to go ahead and make sure that they're getting a return on their investment. And now they're starting to see that they're not really getting their return on these items that are sitting around. From my point of view, in our bicycle shop that's going on right now, our repair department is still kicking, but we're getting a lot of our chains and cassettes and those soft good items that are replaceables directly from Shimano, directly from SRAM. If a shifter is needed, we'll order it maybe off Quality, but we'll also just check SRAM first as well. But this really does just point to the way that the industry is going. Everything is super high end. Really what's driving our sales, what used to be pre-pandemic, we'd have maybe a $10,000 day with cruisers and hybrids. Those cruiser and hybrid customers coming in on a weekend with the family and stuff like that, it seems to cease to exist. We'll get onesie twosies every once in a while, but everyone who wanted a bike during that pandemic period bought a bike. And now with the day and age of internet, these e-scooters, these e-bikes, they're not really looking for the family bike rides to ride around on. They're looking for Surons, they're looking for scooters, they're looking for cheap e-bikes, they're looking for other outlets as well. So what we're experiencing in our day now, we might not get those $2,000 to $3,000 days of cruising and hybrids, but we'll go 4 or 5 days without getting a sale, and then we'll hit an S-Works Tarmac SL8 for $14,000 or $13,000 to cover that margin up. every single thing seems to be going high end. I'll get inquiries about S-Works. I'll get inquiries about NV SES Pro wheels. I'll get inquiries about SRAM Red, Durace. Yes, I'll still get the Ultegra and Force, but very rarely do I see the entry-level aluminum road bike customer come into our store. Now, we still have them. I'm not saying there's none out there. There's still people that are still interested in the sport. But now, again, how powerful the internet is, how powerful the word of mouth is from a friend, they usually already know if they're thinking about getting into the road bike, it's because they've been told by a friend to do so, or they've maybe done some of their own research, and that friend usually says, hey, there's this guy looking to sell a bike. And the used market during this time of the pandemic series has been so heavily saturated, not just by people dumping their bikes who bought one during the pandemic just to recoup some of their money, and there's not as much time as there was in the pandemic, but even manufacturers, distributors, they had so much excess inventory that they dumped a lot of their excess inventory into Pro's Bike Closet, Cycle Limited, what's the other one? Kelly Blue Book or Bicycle Blue Book. They put a lot of these bikes on this market where now you can get like brand new bikes sitting there for $2,000 to $3,000 off. So now these people are looking at used bikes that used to be a $6,000 bike competing against an entry-level carbon fiber road bike with mechanical 105 for $2,700, and it's usually in the realm of the same price point. So again, we're seeing even entry-level people go ahead and look for a little bit of a higher-end bicycle as well. But yeah, it seems like everything is driven by high retail items because the profit margin is bigger. Obviously, the bigger the number, the bigger the profit margin is going to be, or the bigger the money, the profit is going to be on a higher margin item. And it just seems like these companies are trying to rebrand. And even this, I'll say this, like I said, the preseason back then was pretty strict in 2019. You would deal with these manufacturers or these dealers, and this is just what it would be. They would want a specific number. They want you to hit your goals. Now it seems to be a little bit more lenient. They can see that the old-fashioned business model of a bicycle brick-and-mortar retail store is not the same of what it used to be. We used to have stock of all items. Now we're going to say, hey, we don't want to take on these items because they're just not selling. And we're just being upfront with you. We're going to go ahead and order this. It might not be as high of the number that you guys want to be, but we're confident we can sell it. Throughout the year, we'll also order more. And I don't know about you guys, but this is me just because of the fact that I work in the business. So do not, this is not me being ignorant at all, but I'm just showing you guys from our business model. Let's go ahead and do this real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay, so right here, with the way that today's day and age is, how crazy it is with crazy inflation, costs of diesel that went up like crazy, to go ahead and transport these items from big boats over the water to get them over here. I don't see how a company, let's just give an example like Specialized, can make money off of something like this. This is more of a filler item. That's why they're not really pushing that hard as rock hopper. Back in the day, they used to push rock hopper. They used to do a whole marketing reel for it. Great entry level mountain bike, good for the family and you. $750. This bicycle used to be $550 back in 2019. But you have to think about it this way. $750 for this bicycle. This is aluminum material. You still have a front shock on here. You have rubber, which costs money. You have spokes, wheels being built up, obviously by machines. But again, this is all labor-intensive items. The frames are being welded together. They're being painted, cranks assembled, put into a box, shipped, packaged. They have to store them until they get the orders placed for them. This bike is $750, and then they sell them to a dealer like us that we take a profit off as well. And usually the customers nowadays come in and they say, hey, I want to buy a Specialized Tarmac S-Works SL8. I already know what size I want. I want these handlebars. I want these cranks. Done. Easy. Swipe the card. Here you go. With a rock hopper, it's usually the customer coming in and saying, I'm looking to get into mountain biking. I have no idea what I want. And he's like, I'd like to try a couple bikes out. That sale takes about an hour to 2 hours. Again, we're always happy to help. But in terms of profit there, I have a guy working with him for 2 hours. That's cost of an employee. Then we have to go ahead and give a service on it as well for the full year. We take a dealer profit. And then I don't know how much Specialized can make after cost of materials, logistics, and shipping that thing. So you can see it's not just Specialized. It's Trek, Scott, everyone out there is really starting to only focus on high-end stuff. And the companies that are really thriving right now are the companies like Colnago. Really, a enthusiast, high-end premium brand, only sells top-end quality road bikes, top-end quality gravel bikes. No family bikes, no tires, no wheels, just solely bicycles. Whereas they have, Specialized has a full product line, and there's a lot of items that they're literally probably just breaking even just to go ahead and support, to offer it to their other dealers out there who have these bikes, and just to be in like a market share place, like pretty much almost advertisement. So the bicycle industry is definitely changing. And with everything being like the entire sport in terms of the grand tours, the racing, it's the biggest it's ever been. I've never seen a crowd so big, entertained, excited for these race events, for the World Championship, for the Tour de France, for the Vuelta. It's as big as it's ever seen. They get the most eyes, the most views on it. And those customers that used to be kind of just, I'm a casual rider, now they're paying attention to what these riders are using. What's the watt savings they're getting with aero socks? What wheels are they rocking with? What's the internal rim width? And that stuff used to never really even cross their mind in 2020. Now everything is so detail oriented, and they're looking for every little advantage they can get. And those customers that were just, like I said, just mildly interested in sport are now overly interested in sport, and they're the ones really driving because they want what's new next year, and they'll dump their bike for not what they're okay with, maybe take a $1-2 grand wash on it and just eat it to go ahead and upgrade. So you're seeing more and more of these companies really just roll out the red carpet for the high-end stuff. The Madone Project 1s, the Scott Foils, the SLA S-Works, the Pinarello Dogma Fs, the Colnago Y1RSs. Those bikes, the Cervelo S5, those brands, those bikes, like look at Cervelo again. No really low-end, but they have a S5, R5 Soloist, then they have their mountain bike and the gravel bike. But they're doing a great job dominating that space because they put all their eggs into the basket of just only focusing on that. Meanwhile, these companies like Trek and Specialized have to go ahead and focus on a city bike, a touring bike, and kids bike. So I think you're going to see more and more of these companies start to drop product, like in terms of models. I think they're going to just start to have less models in these lower end stuff and really just focus on their bread and butter of like high-end race bikes. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Am I dead on my analysis of the bicycle industry? What are your experiences in your bike store if you do work in a bike shop? How have your sales been? How has the service been? Has that fallen off as well? Let me know. And this, by all means, is obviously me just making a YouTube video. We seem to be busy every single day, which we're very thankful for. The YouTube channel has brought in a ton of extra business for us. Thank you to you guys who watch. Thank you for all your business. I love it. This is exactly what I do, so I will never get tired of it. But yeah, it's obviously not what it was in 2021 or 2020. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.